Hey there, Jen Ferguson here with Artistic Painting Studio, and today I'm going to show you guys how to prep different surfaces for the application of foils. So come join me. Metallic foils are absolutely gorgeous to work with, and there's so many surfaces and applications that we can use them on. But we want you to be super successful with all your projects, so I'm going to talk about preparing your surface, which is probably not the most exciting topic, but if our surface is not prepared right, we could possibly have failure, and we want all of you to avoid that. So our biggest, I don't want to say secret, or just the biggest thing that I think is super important is preparing that surface. And that could be depending on if you're on glass, you're on metal, you're on galvanized metal, you're on MDF, plastic, whatever you can find, okay? Most of the time we're going to need to sand, clean, and prime. So this is super important. And the main reason is we need to make sure that we have our primer, our paint, adhering to the actual surface substrate better than the foils are adhered to the carrier sheet. So it's pretty simple, whether you're working on glass, a tumbler, which would be stainless steel, galvanized metal, plastic, okay? All of these surfaces are basically non-porous, and we need to make sure our primer is sticking. So basic instructions is to always sand, okay? Now, I don't sand glass, okay? I just go to cleaning, but sometimes I'll even sand the plastic if it's super shiny, just to give it a little bit of grit for your products to stick to. If I'm on stainless steel, we definitely sand this surface because sometimes they've got a protective coating on here. And galvanized metal, absolutely sand first. There is always some kind of a protective film that is on the galvanized metal. So sand it and then clean. Once you have sanded that surface well and made sure that you've even given it a little bit of grit or removed whatever film that might have been on there, then we're going to go to cleaning, okay? And I normally clean with 91% isopropyl alcohol, or I get out the denatured alcohol. Whichever you have handy, they're both going to work great. You can just put this on a paper towel, clean off the surface. You can also stick it in a spray bottle if you've got a big project and spray the alcohol onto the surface, but make sure it's cleaned off well, and then try not to touch it anymore. The oils from our hands can leave a residue which can create a resist. So once it's clean, let's try not to handle the area that we're planning on transferring foils. At that point, we're ready for a primer. And whether you check out our Bondego, okay, which comes in black, white, canvas white, and clear, so that way it will work on most surfaces for you. And it has super great adhesion, and that is its main property, is adhering. And to just about any substrate, everything from what I recommended as far as the glass, the plastic, the stainless steel, and galvanized metal, all of those will work. It also works wonderful on wood, so you can work on your furniture as well. But make sure you put your primer down and then let your primer sit, okay? Don't try to rush things, especially if you're on something non-porous. It's so important to allow it to dry and to get it to where it is bonding, curing, and ready for another layer. If you put a primer on and you're only waiting an hour, there's a great chance that you could soften that primer with putting something wet back over the top and compromise the actual adhesion. So give it some good dry time. I am quite patient. I tend to leave things for 4 hours to overnight and to make sure that I'm not going to have a problem with bonding. Because bonding is our big thing, okay? We've got to make sure that our base coat, our primer, is bonded to that surface so that when we get into the foil application, we're not going to have anything get compromised. So that is the main thing, okay? It's a combination of preparing well, allowing adequate dry time, and not being in such a hurry. So once the surface has your primer on there, and you don't have to use Bondego, if you can find something local. We also have recommended XIM bonding primer, which is a great product and will adhere to most surfaces as well. You just have to make sure that your surface is primed well, okay? Especially when working on the non-porous, because if it's not, you're going to put the foil adhesive down, you're going to let that dry, you're going to go to transfer a foil, and guess what's going to happen? The foil could be adhered to that carrier sheet better, and you go to pull the carrier sheet off and everything wants to come off with it. And that's not a good thing. So make sure to do your prep, okay? It's so important to prep our pieces well. And that is the biggest tip I can give you guys, okay? So prep and patience, ooh, 2 P words. So I really hope that all this information has helped and will give you great results on your next foiling projects. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos.